What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel once again for a Powerstroke F250 repair. This blissful gem came to me for a check engine light, and it having an issue with the DEF heater sender. I have been doing a lot of these DEF repairs, been putting a lot of the heater senders in. We got to drop the tank. We're going to be fighting with a fifth wheel mount. It's going to be a little tight between the bed and that DEF tank. You guys can see he's got some like extra bracket on here too for the, I'm assuming, fifth wheel. I haven't seen one go on the outside of the frame like that. But yeah. Today we're going to go over on this 11 what you have to do to replace your DEF heater sender. These parts are readily available at any of your dealers. If you have a cab chassis, the last letter in that part number is an M. They are two different components, and additionally I will link a description to my cab chassis DEF heater sender replacement video if you guys haven't already seen that. So let's get to it. I'm gonna get this thing up in the air and start removing the DEF components. Alright, you guys, I'm gonna hit you with a little bit of diagnostics. This is something you can do prior to you replacing any part. You guys can get to this connector underneath the vehicle, and you can see this red and white wire. Those are our heater sender wires, and you want to disconnect the connector and put it in the corresponding pins on the male side, the top two left ones when you're looking at the connector, like this. And the spec is supposed to be no greater than 2.5 ohms. So let's see what ours is reading. A no good. A no good. So our DEF heater sender was definitely bad. This is why you get the check engine light for the P20BA, P20B9. There's some other ones that you can get for the DEF heater sender. No good. But yeah, let's get into the repair, and hopefully you guys can do this on your own and make this be in spec. All right, so in this case, I'm using the hoist. One of the first things I want to do is get the truck halfway up the ground, off the ground, so that the DEF fill is right here at my chest. What I do, instead of disconnecting it off the tank, I'm taking it out of actually the fuel fill receptacle, and it's going to be coming down with the tank. Normally I would do this on the hoist. You know, I know you guys don't have that capability, so you know, it would really be nice to show me doing it on my back. I have done it on my back when I've been at home, but when I'm at work, I don't have time to do it on my back. So if I ever do one at home, I'll make sure to get one on my back so you guys can see, you know, the procedure on how you do that in case it ever comes up. All right, so we're gonna start ripping it out with the best 5.5 milli. Gonna take all three of them out. Leave the cap on, so just, you know, in case you drop in the bolts down the fill hole. And I'm just gonna set them right here up on the bed rail. Ooh, I need to change this battery out. And then next, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and take this off. And I'm actually gonna work the collar ring off the fill. And then I'm gonna be real careful. I'm gonna coming back through the wheel well, and just gonna push this through, and I'm gonna immediately point it to the ground. I'm pointing it to the ground right now. And then I'm gonna work it out from behind the wheel well right there, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my cap back on. I'm not putting this on, I'm just screwing the cap on because I'm gonna have to take it back off later. So get that on like that, and then we're gonna lift the truck up all the way in the air. Okay, there are a few different types of setups we have here for fuel shields. This is just a 4x4, it doesn't say FX4. If this was just a regular pickup with no packages or anything on it, your fuel shield would stop here. You would not have this other piece. This is a 4x4. Obviously, the other pickups are too, but this is just a 4x4 package. If this was an FX4, it would have a full underneath skid shield that would have to be removed. So today we just have the one that I would rather have, this one, and the one that doesn't have this piece. I hate taking off this other one, it's just a pain in the butt. We're gonna go ahead and take that nut loose, and these two both are 13s, that nut and this. Sometimes that can be a bugger, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take that off. Another couple of connection points we got is the def line to tank. You need to take that twang out, and then we need to disconnect that connector right there, because that's going to be coming down with our def tank. We also have a bolt right there, and a bolt, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it with the shield in the way, right there. You got to take that bolt out, and we need to take those two bolts out. Remove the tank with help of an assistant. Okay, I got the tank loose and it's sitting right now over the axle, and we need to take one more piece off, and that is this def line. We need to disconnect the electrical connector. So right now there's a button here and a button here right now at 12 and 6 o'clock. You need to push the def line on. You see it moved in a little bit. I'm going to squeeze those two buttons, and then I'm going to pull the def line right off. Now take note, it's going between those two lines. You need to route that out from around those two lines and put that back in there once you are reinstalling. Alright, one of the first things we're going to do is blow this tank off with the blowgun and make sure there's no crud or debris. Actually, before I do that, let me go ahead and cap that pump. There we go. Now everything's closed off. Alright, so now what we want to do next is we're going to remove this harness. We are going to clip one zip tie right here, just like this, because we need to separate the heater from the actual wiring harness. Just take your little screwdriver and we're going to work these little clips that are clipping the harness to the cap off. Go ahead and disconnect your DEF heater sender. Get that clip off. We're not reusing that. So right now the whole harness is loose. I'm not disconnecting it from the pump. There's a risk with that. You're gonna have a hard time getting that back on. You're gonna mess up the connection. Just don't mess with it. You don't need to. You guys remember in my toolbox tour, we're getting this kit and going right for this. 4 milli. I went ahead and switched my battery out, and there's 3 bolts holding this on. So we're just going to go ahead and rip out all 3 bolts. We get new ones, so I do not save them. And there's another bolt right here. Oh, this one must have dirt in it. Yeah, some of them you gotta clean out with a pick or a little screwdriver because it won't let your bit into the bolt. Alright, let's try this. Got it. Yeah. And then it's pretty much just wiggle the pump up. It's just sitting down in there. See how nasty and dirty? There's so much undercoating on this thing. This has to be clean. We cannot get this nasty. So we're gonna set this aside, totally away from where we're blowing, getting it totally away from everything. Okay, so now the next step, well, I guess you can go ahead and do this. Take this vent out. We will be reusing that. But we need to take this cover off. So once again, blow out this crack. Take note, because this has to be, the DEF heater sender has to be put in a certain way. So use this as a reference point. You guys can see this little dot right here. It's not straight on with the dot, but let's see if I can show you. See how it's not straight on? See these 2 lines right here and this dot? This is right in the middle of that circle and these 2 lines. Make sure when you put it back in, this DEF heater sender is in that spot, or you're going to be screwed, because your line that goes to your pump is not going to match up. You're going to have to take it back down, take this off, and basically redo the whole job again. Alright, so we're going to take this cap off, locking ring number. Just going to go ahead and pop that boy on like that. And I usually just prop this right up against my leg like this, and just give it some taps like that. I'm pushing my weight down on this. Pop it loose. You will be reusing this. Again, cleanliness is number 1, or you'll be doing it again. So again, either wipe it down if you don't have air or blow this sucker off again. This vents into a tube. It's not going right into the tank, so don't think you're getting debris down in there. This is all being replaced. I just don't want to crack this lid and then have stuff fall in. All right, little screwdriver again. I'm gonna go right in this crack here and just pry up, just like that. See how that was going up? Gotta do the other side. Okay. So the lid's totally up. Now we're gonna go ahead and take our rubber seal and just pull our rubber seal up, trying not to get any contaminants in the tank. This is not being reused. So the next step here is, you guys can see this part right down in there. I don't know if turning the light on will help. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand in here. Let me get the new component and show you. Alright, here's the new one. We all can agree that it's just like this in the tank. What I'm going to do is I'm putting my hand in just like this, and I'm just doing a quarter turn. There's some feet that have to meet up in the tank that it clips into. It's no bullshit, like that. That's it. Look like that. So we're gonna go ahead and take the old one out. The new one comes in this long bag. I'm putting the old one right back in because this is under warranty, under the extended coverage. If you have a def heater sender DTC, gotta use my right hand. And then I'm basically just gonna yank her out, let her drain. She's full. And then I'm gonna go right into the bag. Remember, don't get this on any surfaces because it's gonna dry and make a complete mess. So just keep it in your bag. Next step, I'm gonna go ahead and just give it an old wipey-roo, and you can make the decision yourself if you want to put the tank back up full, or if you want to empty it and refill it when you get it back in the truck. And for shoulder purposes, I am going to dump it out and refill it with the allotted fluid that comes with the repair. Okay, dump the tank out. I'm gonna go ahead and give it one more wipey wipe, and you'll have to look down in there, but I mean, let's see if I can show you. Oh, that's not too bad. The feet have to match up. I got two small feet there. I mean, the distance between the feet are small there, and you can see the distance between there is way greater. So they're 180 degrees off from each other, and it's pretty much just put it in like this. Sometimes the lid messes with the cap messes with you. That's on the heater sender. You got to kind of hold it out of the way sometimes. It's actually screwing me up right now. Okay, it just slid down into its cup, and I just did its little turn. So right now, def tank's nice and light. I can maneuver it around way easier when it was full. Okay, new parts. New O-rings. I'll show you guys that in a second. But this guy here, we're just gonna work around. This is how it's supposed to sit, so make sure you put it around the electrical connector and stuff like this. Have it go around. And then what you need to do is this needs to sit on the outside of the heater sender. So between the tank and the heater sender. It's not supposed to sit over it like that. It's supposed to sit all the way down around between the tank and the def heater sender. I'll see if I can show you guys. Okay, so actually right here, that's not right. I gotta push it down around. Just work it. What? it, work it, work it, Okay. Looks good all the way around. You guys can check that out. That's how it's supposed to look all the way around. And then remember your marks. Oh, I'll just leave it right there. Remember your marks. So here's my circle thing, and here's my lines. I'm gonna push this side in first, and then I'm just gonna push the other side down and just work it all the way around. I have had the seal roll down inside just because it was real sticky. Actually, that's too funny. It's doing it right there. So I gotta pop this thing back out, pull that seal back up, wipe this guy's undercoating off my hands. This shit's all over, man. Orientate it back how I had it. And let's see if I can do the other side that gave us problems and work this side down in. Okay, I like the way that feels. When you push down on it, you'll hear the tank hiss a little bit. No problem. Okay, that's exactly how it came out. So now we're going to put our cap lid back on. Screw it down as far as I can get it. And then do another little leg holding thingamaroo. Suzanne Summers would be proud. Ugh. Okay, so that brings us to our next step with the O-rings. And you guys can see there's already an O-ring installed in here. I don't know, they always put a big one in it when it comes in the box. So that means all we need is this little guy and these 3 bolts. Okay, don't lose that little O-ring. Have it bounce around on you. I've had that happen. Probably could have cut that bag better. Little tail end there. Come on. Alright. So you take that little O-ring, you're going to put it in the hole here, and just take one of these new bolts, new screws, and I just work the O-ring till it's flat all the way down, just like that. Don't forget about your little tank vent. Just screw, it's got a little O-ring on it, just make sure you seat it down there all the way. Go ahead and get this bad boy out the way and have that sit in here. These go on these little rails down here. Let's see if I can show you. No, maybe not. Kind of clip in right like that. So that's out of the way. Now if you were replacing this pump, you would have to prime it, but since we're not replacing it and reusing it, there's no priming needed. And you basically, it's hard to look obviously for those 2 ports underneath. What I do is I just line up the bolt holes. If the bolt holes are lined up, those 2 ports are lined up. So I just stand over it just like I am, and just kind of wiggle back and forth. You guys can see that it's sitting nice and flush. It's not rocking. Don't cross thread these. I've had that happen to me myself, so forewarning. Just give it an old snug. And then our final bolt, I go like this so that I can get in between this crack here. Okay. Nice and goody. So I'm going to go ahead and clip our electrical connector back on. Get these guys back on the side of the cap. They just slide on the rail all the way down until you feel it clip in. Like that. And then if you remember, we had to cut one, so I want to put that one back on, and they assume you're taking the harness off and give you all these other ones, but we're not doing that. So I'm gonna go for this one right here. This has to face the tank, so your harness actually has to go like this, so make sure you orientate that correctly. So I'm not gonna tighten it, I'm just gonna loosely put it around both those harnesses, and then I'm gonna to the tank, push down, and then do my final zippy-do. Okay, so one more point of interest. If I leave this flopping, sometimes I get it, if I leave this flopping, sometimes when I put the tank up, it'll like get crimped in between here. So what I've done is I just take this harness here and just loop it just like that. I'm not putting it all the way through, I'm just putting it right at the end, so that when I get up there, all I gotta do is go whoop, and then plug it in. So I'm just gonna leave that boy just like that. Alright, our last step here is to put the depth fill back. You guys can see it's just chilling right there. So our goal is to have it come up through this hole. Yeah, so let's get that done and going. Alright, take the cap off. Now I gotta fill this thing back up because it didn't have, I emptied it all out. I'm gonna go ahead and just spin it on a couple threads here, just so this will catch. I'm gonna go for our 5/5s. They're pretty much lined up, just sitting there. Right in the same witness mark. This last guy over here on the back side. We'll unscrew this and put it on the correct way, but this time we'll leave it off because we're gonna be filling the depth. Alright you guys, so now we're gonna be filling the depth. Make sure to get you the correct nozzle to fill your truck, and the only stuff I would use, Motorcraft diesel exhaust fluid. Now when you go to fill the depth, make sure you fill it up all the way. Don't be doing like half fills or quarter fills because you get a message. You got to fill it all the way up. Make sure that the gasket is all the way seated down, and dump it all the way up like this. Alright, that's the conclusion of this video. I hope you all guys enjoyed. Tell me what you think about that in the comment section below. If anybody's had to replace their depth heater sender on their 1167. And join the squad, get some stickers. We got some apparel coming out. Yes, this is the golden ticket. And as always, thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you next Friday.